Well, hello there, my beautiful and lovely gamers. My name is Jonal. When this video goes up, there should be about 1 hour until I start streaming. I start streaming 8 p.m. Norwegian time. We will do placement on Light Striker. I placed Lightstorm yesterday, and he placed in, well, I got him to Grandmaster, so let's hope that we don't do it too bad on Light Striker on the stream. So I did just want to give you guys a head up that there is a stream 8 p.m. Norwegian time today. Now, today we're doing something that was asked a lot. What heroes are viable for today? Which heroes should you maybe pick up if you already have them, like, kinda in your roster, but you are not 100% sure, like, should I play this? Should I play that? Who is viable? We're gonna talk about that for Season 10 meta, because the meta is a little bit different. So, with no further ado, let's begin. As always, remember that if you're trash with the hero, maybe you should not play him in your competitive games, even though he's categorized as meta. There should be heroes that, to a certain extent, you have mastered, or like you're good at, like it's one of your comfort picks, if you know what I mean. Now, we start on the DPS side of the roster. So, just gonna mention Genji real quick. I played on Lightstorm, I played Genji. I think I have like an 87% win rate on that guy right now. I played him a lot, and he works fine. You just need to think when you play him, especially since a lot of players right now likes to run 2-2-2, so they like to run like a Ryan and a Zarya. It's incredibly nice for Genji. You can get a lot of work on it. Just remember, if they run a Brigade, there will be a stun, so you have to be a little bit careful about your positioning, especially if you're going for like the backline with the Dragon Blade. You really need to make sure that, you know, you don't fuck up your dashes and stuff like that, so you get nuked immediately. That's really the big thing. So if you're good on Genji, you can continue to play Genji. Just as always, don't play him against like heavy tank composition. Just like previously meta. If they ran quad tank, don't play Genji. While Brigitte is a counter, he's not that big of a counter. That it will ruin your entire gameplay. You need to look at their overall team composition and also your team composition. Now, when it comes over to DPS that I think is very, very viable right now, McCree is incredibly fun. Just because the fact that you have your own stun, you have flash, which actually is just cancer. If your team runs a Brigade and you play McCree, you have 2 stuns on your team. That's just like 2 immediately fuck you CCs. So you can bully the Reinhardt of the opposing team to just like quit the game. In general, McCree is really broken right now. Well, he's as strong as he's always been, just because of the fact that he has more this burst potential in your main group. Of course, always watch out that you don't get out of position and died, because you're so low survivability, but just the fact that he has that scary pressure of the opposing team, and especially when the opposing team runs a lot of deathball, McCree is actually one of the better choices against this meta. If they run Moira, if they run Brigade, it's easy clap. Really, in general, he works fine as long as you're good enough with him. Sword 76 also works. Just remember that it's more of a pressure thing then, and pressure was just like just having pressure and having burst damage like McCree. It's very different. So just remember that if your team is decided to play very aggro towards the enemy team, and you're very scared about them bursting your people really quickly, then maybe Soldier isn't the best choice. And as a lot of people feel that, you know, Soldier isn't the easiest one to carry with. A lot of people feel that it's easy to carry with McCree just because he has that burst potential to kind of like force a lot of picks if you're decent aim with him. I know a lot of people is going to ask about Tracer, because there's an upcoming Tracer nerf coming in, which will nerf a Pulse Bomb. When that goes live, will still be viable? Yes, it will definitely still be viable. So if you're good on Tracer, don't worry, continue working on that and getting good with her, because she will definitely still be quite viable with her playstyles, with everything. I actually feel that she is almost a more pick now, just because the fact that Brigitte and stuff is there, that it's nice that you have someone that can relieve pressure from the main group without staying in the main group. Now, Junkrat is, of course, as always, quite the meta pick. He is very, 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 very strong right now, as he has been for some time now, especially when they're running 2-2-2, they're running deathballs, slow-moving comps, or whatever. Pretty nice to have a Junkrat on the side of your team, because you can normally kite and really wear down the enemy team, especially when they run like Brigitte and Moira and have practically no range for their support lineup, and then they run like Ryan and Zarya, whatever, right? He works really, really well. Now, on top of that, and I mean if you're really good with Mei placement of walls, on certain map, she's still, you know, back to that good old thing, especially if they're running like Ryan Zarya, because you can do the same strategy that we did way before. Just wait until the Reinhardt overcommits through the choke, then wall him off alone, or maybe wall him at the Zarya off alone. Your team kills those, and rinse and repeat until you win, you know, Hanamura. It's a very kind of cancer way of playing it, and Mei is, well, Mei is Mei. She has a buff. She's quite strong, but she requires that you actually don't mess up your walls, because if you start messing up your walls, then it kind of becomes not that useful for you to play her. An honorable mention is stuff like Handsome Widowmaker, which is always something that I will mention. Will the Handsome be viable after the nerf? Definitely. Is it viable before the nerf, for buff, for reroll, or whatever you want to call it? Definitely still viable. Definitely, if you're good on Handsome, if you're good on Widowmaker on the map that you think that, you know, this is a good Handsome map, this is a good Widowmaker map, definitely continue to play those. They work absolutely fine, just like they've done for a long period of time, and those two are still meta if you're good enough with them. When I come over to tanks, some of the tanks that I personally believe still is some of the better choices for you is, of course, Orisa is an easy pick that you can pick up whenever. She's viable on certain maps, not all of them, but a lot of them there are. Also, Roadhog is still quite the tank to have in your roster. He's quite easy to carry with. You can do a lot of them. Now, a lot of people have, if you're good on Zarya, you might have to play some Zarya, because a lot of people want for some reason to run Reinhardt and Zarya now. That's just something that people have in their heads is incredibly good. So, you know, you can play Zarya. If you're good Zarya, that always works out. But if not, then you can run D.Va. Even though D.Va right now can feel a little bit weird, since if the opposing team is not running dive, it can be a little bit, what can I say, weird on it. Then again, Zarya against a heavy team composition with a Reinhardt can normally be him bullied out of the park. So really, you know, making sure that you have a good Orisa, maybe even having good Winston. I will not recommend Reinhardt, because you're gonna get cyber bullied towards, like, you're gonna, like, there's not a lot you can do. So unless you're really good Reinhardt, I do not really recommend you trying to pick up Reinhardt this season, because this season is very much against Reinhardt. Orisa is still fine on defense and stuff like that. Winston can still work very nicely on offense. I don't think, you know, a lot of these tank compositions that is now being played, I see a lot of time there's lack of one thing, and that is damage to deal with something like a dive comp. So a lot of time dive can work very nice. And also therefore includes that if you don't want to play main tank and want to play off tank, taking a look at D.Va, taking a look at Roadhog can be very good picks to you know, pick up or get back into. And if you've ever been very good on Zarya, it's just nice that you have it in the back of the head that maybe you should, you know, just refresh her a little bit in case you will have to play her in the combo of a Reinhardt. Then we come to the support. Everyone's going to ask about Brigitte, so I'm just going to cover her very the first. If you want to play Brigitte, just make sure that one, you play her. When I played my placement games and I played my promo games to GM on Lightstorm and stuff like that, I saw a lot of players that played Brigitte that clearly didn't have mastered her or even played her very well. Or played her a lot in quick play or whatever before this, and they dislike some of the first times that they're actually on her. And it's very clear that a lot of them don't know how to play her. I said, when I can play around her that easily, and when I can play very aggressively around her as a Genji, then they're normally doing something wrong. She's definitely one to pick up. If you know what you're doing, you can absolutely shit on teams, but make sure that you know her, and make sure that you pick her on maps where it makes sense and with team composition that makes sense. If your team is on let's say Gibraltar, and your job is high ground control, kinda like you wanna go on attack and you wanna control high ground with a dive, Brigitte might not be the best choice that you can do for a team back then. So she's not a must pick. Please just think if you can use her, and think on the map and how your team is gonna play that before you pick her. Besides that, I see a lot of people start now picking Mercy, because it's still difficult to get 3 supports in there. So a lot of times someone will pick Brigitte, and then you're kind of stuck with having, you know, we need a good healer. So I see a lot of people playing Mercy again. I see some people play Ana, but I don't know. I believe still Ana is fun and you can carry with it to a certain extent, but she's not very meta right now. So to a certain extent, you should maybe steer away from Ana, even though I'm going to continue to play her. And then, you know, as I said, Mercy, a lot of people seem to be playing that. At least you will then get like some kind of high ground control heal. Moira is definitely something that you should make sure that you can play if you want to have a support to fall on, because Brigitte Moira is working quite nice, at least as of now. And Zenyatta, I think Zenyatta still works very nice. Just make sure that you're not too low on those heals, which you can become if you run a Brigitte. But maybe you can ask the Brigitte to, hey, can you then play Moira instead? I'll play Zenyatta, we have range pressure, or something like that. But besides that, guys, I hope this helps out. This is my opinion. As always, I would like to hear your down in those comments below. I hope I see you at the stream today. Placement games, let's go. And as always, guys, I love you very much. You guys take care of yourself, and as always, stay positive and keep the enemy in your crosshair.